You? Yeah, you're on.
All right. Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting for November 3rd, 2025. We'll start the meeting at 6 o'clock. Could I get a roll call, please?
Select Chairman Mr. Coy,
Here.
Vice Chair Mr. DeRoche,
Here.
Selectman Mr. Gifford,
Here.
Selectwoman Ms. Costa,
Here.
Selectman Mr. Shorman.
Here.
Also in attendance is Town Manager Greg Colby, Assistant Town Manager Gemma Lambert, Administrative Specialist Beth Hozak, and Administrative Assistant Jared Casmay.
All right. You all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Justin, you want to lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And is there anyone here for public comment? Evening, Ryan.
Good evening, all. Ryan Lebrecq, 174 Main Street. Just to give another example of the inaccurate revaluation, increased valuations for residential properties were close to 50%. However, BOS reduced the tax rate by 30%. So residential properties, for the most part, will be going up. And also another example of incorrect valuations. There's another commercial property in town on the market for $1.8 million. And the 100% valuation done by our valuation company has that property set at $1.3 million. So about $500,000, just about 30% below. Again, hasn't sold yet. Give them that, but likely once it sells, it's going to prove that the 100% valuation was wrong on the commercial side and incorrectly shifted to residential. Some budget questions. Well, actually, before I go there, I've submitted, as you all know, multiple RTKs, and one of which is 4 or 5 months old and still hasn't been fully answered yet. Still waiting for 2025 budget versus actual report. Seems like should be a simple press the button and a cost system. Apparently, we're unable to do that in a timely manner. Also, in general, the responses from the town are solely inadequate to respond to RTKs saying, I'm too busy. After 5 days, it's going to take another 2 weeks to respond, which was a similar response back 4 months ago, to which 2 weeks became 4 weeks for an initial response, and to this day has still not been responded fully. Honestly, I'm sick of hearing we're short-staffed. It's excuses. We all have jobs. When we need to get them done, we work the hours necessary to get them done, and that's the expectation. I think the members of this board, as well as the members of the department managers in town, have forgotten who they work for. They work for us, the taxpayers, not themselves, not you all. Maybe they report to you, but ultimately the taxpayers are paying the bills. So I don't know what you all have to hide. I asked for information that should be public information. Should be readily available. It's similar information that certain members of the budget committee are also asking for in some cases months ago. Can't get the information to even analyze a budget. And the whole budget process right now is a complete farce. It's actually comical watching the budget committee meeting today and the BOS meeting from last week today. It basically is a non-process. It's a town manager, town department heads submit budgets and they expect them to get passed, period, without questions. Never are there any substantive questions from this board. They're always voted 5-0. And the budget committee, while the chair appears to act like he's going to get a bunch of information, it's just stonewalling. Information is not forthcoming. They proceed to vote on budgets without accurate information, without information requests in front of them. And that's not how a budget project process is supposed to work. The only thing you can think of is that there's something being covered up. If you can't provide the information to the public, what are you hiding? I don't want to assume that, but this is not this time around. This is several years. I'm a broken record. I say the same thing every year. The same stonewalling happens. So there must be something going on behind the scene from a corruption perspective
You got
or
something else
whatever.
before you keep going with the accusations, saying there's a corruption going on. If you got something that's corrupt, bring it on.
I can't because the town won't give me the information legally required to provide.
What
So
else
put the information out there, and
A lot of stuff's
then it probably isn't. There's probably nothing, but there's no reason to withhold and to slow roll providing information to the budget committee, providing information to the residents.
What else you got?
It's legally required. I'll skip over a bunch. So further questions. I saw, thank you. I didn't get to see your responses because they were 15, 20 minutes ago, but responses to my questions last week. More questions. Finance, $178,000 budget. Who's budgeted and what positions are funded? 2, what are the court cases that the town is exploring or expecting in early 2026? There's always talk of court cases, but the public never gets filled in on. I understand specifics probably can't be provided because it's a court case, but it should be reported to everyone what's going on. Why are we spending money on court cases? What do they have to do with? Increase of the HR budget, $2 to $3 million in the HR budget. So from what I understand, this is like the budget for all the stuff on top of salaries, all the burden. I might be wrong. So when a department advertises their budget at $3 million, you really have to go in and carve out what part of that $3 million HR budget is also associated with that. So I'd like to see what that is by department, how much of the $2.9 million budget is allocated to the police department, the fire department, et cetera, for employee burden. Provide a breakout of costs associated with each department staff. The annex, sell it. Get it back on the tax rolls. It's underutilized, not necessary. It's a waste of space. We have a couple of people in there. There's other places they can go. That should be sold or rented. I'd like a full list of what's included in other general government. Sounds like a catch-all for a bunch of stuff to be hidden. Provide it to us.
Yeah, you got about a minute left, Ryan.
Regarding vehicles, we have an exhaust leak. You fix the exhaust leak. That's simple. We're going to throw away a car because it has an exhaust leak. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. Fix the cars. Trash service. Our current trash service drives around town in trucks that are spewing hydraulic fluid all over the roads. You guys where the developer paved Savage, I think it's called. You walk down Savage, it's full of hydraulic oil 2 weeks after or a month after it was paved. Taxpayer funds used for charity is not appropriate. Government shouldn't be picking and choosing what charities are supported. There's millions of charities. How do you decide whether one charity is more important than another charity? Nothing should be provided from a taxpayer perspective to charities. All great causes shouldn't be funded by taxpayers. Fireworks for waste of money. Cut it out. We don't need it. Taxes are going up. Again, you need to start looking closely at costs and reducing where you can. That I went over.
All right.
I'm just about done.
Well, I've given you well over 5 minutes.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, I try to help when I can.
Much appreciated. So, in closing, RTKs are necessary when government doesn't provide information required to provide to the public. Instead of complaining about them and complaining that we're short-staffed, do your jobs or find someplace else to work. We'll find someone else that's willing to do the work and willing to be transparent and provide information required. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go first up. Justin, come on down. Timberlane Regional School District.
Hey, Bill, thanks for having me.
Oh,
back.
no problem. Thank you.
I sent the board an agenda earlier this week, or maybe even last week, but we're going to start with our building principals in all the towns.
Yes.
Ms. Mary Sullivan, Mary's with her second year with us back here in Timberlane. She's going to give a pretty brief update of the opening of school and just highlight some things.
Yeah, last time I saw her, I think she was in handcuffs.
I was. He did ask me if I've been in the building before, and I said yes, but only in the jail. For a good cause.
That's right, it was.
Thank you for having me here tonight. I'm like Justin said, I'm Mary Sullivan. I am the Pollard principal. I am in my second year and very excited to be here. We had a little bit of a tough start to our school year with the loss of one of our community members, which first off, I have to thank this community, the parents, the community in general, really wrapped around us, our kids, our staff, and helped us through a very difficult time because it was not something that we were expecting. But we're back on track and we are moving forward. We have a few new things in place this year, which I'm very excited about. We started an intensive needs program at Pollard. We have 2 students that are from Pollard and one that is, it's a district-wide program, so they come to us to this program from Atkinson. So far, these kids have made great strides. Just to give you an example, one of those students was only in school for a couple hours a day. At this point in the year, we have him in for almost the entire day. And I think that within the next month or so, we'll see him there full day. So we are really excited about the strides that our intensive needs program has made for these students that are that needed just that extra support to be able to get their needs met. They are, in terms of becoming more and more part of our community, we've actually set up a whole new way to get supplies delivered and a new checkout system in the library, and they do a lot of the collection and delivery. So it's getting them out and getting them connected to classes, not just in their grade level, but across the building. We do have a lot of updates in our library this year, which is very exciting. Some new systems that are taking some time to transition to, but we're excited about the changes and the excitement that it's bringing about in the kids moving forward. We also, one of our big changes this year is we have switched to a fully digital dismissal program, which we played around with a little bit last year, and we transitioned about 2 weeks into the school year. And I'm going to knock on wood because we're still pretty early into it, but it seems to be working really well. Just trying to do anything we can to help facilitate the timeliness of getting kids, back to their cars and back home. So those are just some new things that we have going on at Pollard. In terms of academics, we have some really great things that have been going on. Jackson Stratton was just elected our kid governor, so he'll represent Pollard in the next round of elections, which will be on November 7th. So we also have a lot of hands-on projects that have started this year. So it has the kids really excited and invested in their learning. Our innovation teacher has done a whole unit on recycled materials, and kids have built whole new inventions out of just tons of recycled materials. She did a recycling drive at the beginning of the year. We took a bunch from that and then recycled the rest. That we had way more. Thank you again to the Plastow community. We had way more than we were expecting come in. We have a fourth grade math class that's building math cities, all based on measurement and data and strategic angles. And it's just amazing to see when you give the kids the opportunity to be creative with that, how they really rise to it. So we're really excited. I'm really excited for another great year. And that's it. We're going to just keep working to make Pollard even better.
Yeah, Pollard's always been a good community from when my kids went there.
Yes. Yeah.
Granted, my kids have been long gone out of there.
Well, I taught one of your kids, so.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I taught Joey
Oh, yeah.
Spanish
Oh,
before he switched to German.
yeah. Well, yeah, he did do it German too. And now he even reads and writes Arabic.
Good for him.
But yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Now I
figured
have a
people-
fourth grader there, so I got 2 more years.
I figured
to
people would
Pollard.
want to forget about my kids.
Yeah. So,
I'll have to mention it when I see them
yes, please
that
do.
you were in.
Yeah.
I know you still have. You've what?
We got 2 years left. My daughter just left Pollard, so now I got
Yeah.
one left there, and he's been liking the school year. Everything's been good. He told me about the changes in the library, and
Yeah.
everything's been good so far. So
Excellent. Love to hear that.
Yeah, and I know.
My
Well,
kids went through Pollard, and I believe they have been acquainted with Mrs. Sullivan at the high school level.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Jay, I know you got some ties to Pollard.
Went there. That helps.
Yeah.
his whole
I don't
family
know what
tree.
we would do without Nurse Kate.
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
Yep.
Yeah, everything, John?
I'm good. My daughter went through Pollard years ago.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do hear good things about Pollard,
Thank you.
which is good.
You're
And,
working, one of my big things was to really kind of shift the culture and build a stronger community. We have a really strong community within the building, but
Yeah.
I really wanted to make those ties to the Plastow community even stronger.
Yeah.
So doing a lot of work with that.
All right, perfect.
So
That's great. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
Hey, Bill, thanks so much. And just want to reiterate how thankful we are to have Mary working. She's an incredible person with vision and a whole lot of strength that's doing a lot of great things in the community here in Plastow. So thanks for being on board with us, Mary. Bill, I had mapped out, there were 3 things I really wanted to do tonight, and I really appreciate accepting the invitation back. I know that I visited a couple times last year and really hoping to make this kind of a routine practice. with
No,
the
I
school
think it's a
district.
great idea having you come in a couple times a year. Because
Absolutely.
we didn't have that before. I think this is great.
Yep.
Have that open discussion, and I think it's a good thing.
We can do that. So 3 things, Bill, I was looking
Yep.
to do tonight is, unlike you guys as a town, we live in kind of 3 fiscal years at a time. So I wanted to kind of give some information about the fiscal 25 session that we just wrapped. We're in the middle of fiscal 26 now, so I'll talk a little bit about how we're operating this year. And then everyone here also knows we're in the budget process looking for fiscal 27, and I can give a little detail about what's been going on with the budget
Yep.
committee there as well. All right. So looking at fiscal 25 in terms of where we ended, there is a budget to actual dashboard that we're delivering at school board meetings on the second meeting of every month. This is routine practice, and I say it here because I think it's a really great way for this group and also the community of Plastow to kind of tune into the school district and get a really good 1-page graphic about what our fiscal health is. You can track the revenues across the district from budget actuals that way. You can track the expenses. You can track the number of contractors that are hired in the district, the number of employees, number of students. And you can also compare it back to the last fiscal year with actual. So a really good dipstick in one quick shot, second school boarding meeting of every month. If you saw the one that we closed fiscal 25, you would have seen that we expended as a district about $83.5 million. That was an $11.5 million difference from fiscal 24. And on the revenue side, we collected about $75.5 million. And that was a $10 million difference from revenue we collected in fiscal 24, which was about 84.7. So just some macro numbers for you. Also a good opportunity to remind you that the school funding formula here in New Hampshire isn't specific to Timberlane. So when you're thinking about those types of expenses for budgets. It's coming from three places. It's coming from the federal government at a fairly small rate. It's coming from the state government at a little bit larger rate. And it's coming from the taxpayers of New Hampshire, and specifically our four towns, at a much higher rate, supermajority rate, anywhere from 70 typically to 80%. We had an unassigned fund balance as well this year that we reported that out at the school board meeting on September 4th. If you really wanted to dig into some of the details, if you remember, I was here last year and gave some education that it's made up of two numbers. It's expenses that were not expended, savings there, and also additional revenues that came in. We unpack that to kind of a degree of detail at that meeting. If you wanted to watch that, that timestamp is at 55:20. And again, that's at the September 4th meeting. I'll give big numbers and kind of an overview for you here. Again, that total was $7.6 million. Of the breakdown side, on the revenue side of that number, was about $1 million of unanticipated revenue. And on the savings of the expense side, you're looking at a little over $6 million. And that breakdown was about $3.8 million of salary. And other pieces there that were involved in it. I also want to remind you that the board decided to spend an additional $4.2 million in projects that were not budgeted for. $3 million of that was the decision to prepay phase one of the lease, thereby saving taxpayers $1.2, $1.4 million over the course of that lease over its 20-year period. So some decisions made at the board level. We sat at 7.6. September 4th was the meeting. We unpacked that. Lots of detail for anybody that wants to follow up, or certainly follow up with me with questions to that end. And the last thing, Bill, for fiscal 25 is that we're looking that we were not able to retain any funds. If this group remembers that there was a warrant article that was voted down in terms of rescinding the school district's ability to retain 5%. That has resulted in us being able to retain 0%. So the board didn't have any authority to retain any funds last year. I want to give a precursor. The board will be putting another warrant to the voters in March, looking to get a certain percentage of retained funds back. Fiscal healthy organizations do that. So we're going to be educating the voters in all four communities about why we believe that's a good idea. Before I move to fiscal 26, maybe a good idea to pause and see if there's anything that people want to dig into that specific year.
On the lease, how much is left to be paid back on that?
So phase one, I can get exact numbers, Bill. I think phase one was close to $3 million. That's now paid off and off the books. Phase 2 and 3 are now active. They total about $1 million together. The board just approved phase 4. It's going to be close to a $10 million phase, which is just like phase 2 in terms of its size. And I anticipate that payment, getting lumped in, and it'll be due July 1 of 2026. That phase is going to take about 2 years of project lead time to complete until we're seeing all the benefits of that work.
And what are the big projects that are left?
Coming up, there's a substantial work at Pollard School. And there's about $3.5 to $4 million at Pollard that's specifically designed around HVAC and air handling units.
All right.
Some smaller work at Danville, some smaller work to finish up at Atkinson, some smaller work to complete the work that was done on the main campus. If you guys saw the huge crane out there last year. So those little pieces, but the majority of it is going to actually be in the town of Plastow. Next.
Okay, good. Any questions?
All right. Okay. Fiscal 26, we're all kind of living there right now. If you remember, we had a voted budget of $82.5 million that we needed to realign to. To remind this group about how we were able to realign there, we made about $6.5 million of reductions. Of those reductions, $3.8 million of those were people, or 58% of the total reduction. We reduced our budget by $1 million of capital to align. We reduced our budget having principals and directors really scrape what they were looking for in their schools. And also we reduced transportation by $1 million. That's how we got to this aligned budget. For the budget actual reports, I reminded you folks that it's at the second school board meeting on those Tuesdays. Again, I encourage you highly to tune in for those things. It's a way for us to report out our fiscal health. We're going to closely monitor that with this revised budget and see where we are tracking with revenue and expenses. And if there's anything that we need to do or flags we need to raise, we'll be doing that in December or January as more actuals come in and our projections into June kind of take more shape as they do here in the town as well. And lastly, in terms of the voted budget, we are inviting budget committee members and school board members to meet with myself and Marie Watkins, our BA, and we're walking them through 3 different things. We're walking through them the cash flow. So when cash comes into the district, we're walking them through how that's processed and how it exits the district. We're walking them through the apportionment and how that's divided amongst the towns. And we're also walking them through the adequacy payments from the state, which are tied to that apportionment, which then lead to the tax rate, which I think that you guys have had some news on today here. So some education that we're doing on behind the scenes with the governing bodies and smaller groups, because I think this is really good information for them that help them have better discussions as a board and better decisions for the constituents that are depending upon those decisions. And that's fiscal 26. Bill, any thoughts about
Perfect.
questions about where we are right now?
I'm good.
You'll get them at another time?
Yeah, I'll hit them up on the 13th.
Anything, John?
Good.
Jay? Tyler?
I'm good.
All right.
No, I think that's good at least to understand, especially, with the lease where that stands, because I know that was always a big thing. Everybody wants to understand that.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah, if phase 4 is complete, we're waiting for EI to draw the contract for us. We'll look through that stuff with legal, but that's really going to exhaust and commit the district to the remaining funds. In the lease, there's a small dollar left that we're looking into making some decisions about, but phase 4 is going to be it.
Is there any timelines we should be aware of, things coming up? I know you got budget season now, the end of the year.
Yep.
If you set your deliberatives, when that's going to be at the date on that?
Yeah, all the voting calendar is set with that. And I think there's a couple things I'll point out at the end here to kind of as we look forward to
Okay.
fiscal 27.
Perfect.
So we're deep in the budget season, Bill, and we've had successive meetings. And anytime that there's not a school board meeting on Thursday, the budget committee is meeting at the SAU at 7:00. We've got our next meeting on November 14th, or a week from this Thursday,
13th.
the 13th, right? Not the 6th.
Correct.
All right. And at that meeting, we would have already presented all the department and principal and director types budgets, and those budgets make up about 24% of the whole district budget. And this next one on the 13th, we'll be getting the personnel and transportation. So November 13th is a night that the district the end budget will kind of come into focus, and then we can start engaging in some robust conversations around those things. What I've told the budget committee, and you heard me say this here last year, it's a really challenging job just for the fact that they're making decisions about dollars that won't be spent for 8 months, the first dollar, and the last dollar won't be spent for 20 months from the discussions going on right now. And in an organization that deals with human beings. So there's lots of variability that goes on. So I don't envy the job. I think it's very difficult, but I do think we can make it have the authority of the taxpayers and protect that, but also deliver high quality education for students. As I said to you last year, Bill, I don't think it's mutually exclusive.
Yep.
So that's where that process is heading toward. We've mapped out a little bit of a different budget process this year, is that we've had some really strategic designs of the presentations. Every presentation has started with a part of the whole. I wanted the budget committee and the members watching that to understand when we're presenting the technology budget, what part of the whole is that? So it puts the conversation about those dollars in context. Principals and directors that were then charged with giving some numbers around that budget, who touches the budget, how many people, how many kids, what's the reach of it, just to get the context of who's benefiting from those dollars. We then presented the drivers of that budget. What are the large percentages that is making that number what it is? And then I think what we didn't do last year, which we really emphasized this year, was planting some seeds with the budget committee about, this, you don't live in a budget 1 year to 1 year. You're thinking ahead and you're looking about how to make things work over time. And be able to present to the budget committee some things that principals and directors are foreseeing, looking into the future, thinking about maybe a big expense coming up or something they think is coming off the books that help them inform their decisions currently when they're making their fiscal 27 proposal. So that's how things have been rolled out that way. In terms of other things that are going to be before voters, it is going to be a busy district in Timberlane, because not only do we have the operating budget coming, we're going to be bringing 4 collective bargaining agreements, hopefully, to the warrant. That will be with our administrators, our paraeducators, our TAM union, which is our admin assistants, and our skilled maintenance folks and IT people. And we have a new collective bargaining unit in Timberlane, which is the speech and language assistants and the occupational assistants, the CODAs. And we'll be negotiating all through this fall and hopefully reaching some good agreements to get them in front of the voters in March. The other thing that I expect to be in front of voters in March, pending some school board work and determinations, is full day kindergarten. And it will be most likely as a separate warrant. This week, I'll be making my second presentation on the board about full day K. It will have full cost items associated with that we've now ironed out with the Department of Education. And we'll have a cost number to be able to portray to the voting block about what K will cost if the district intends to move there. But I fully expect the board will be moving in that direction based on what they've asked me to do previously. So in addition to the school district budget, other things to kind of consider. We're also looking at maybe cleaning up the language of the capital reserve warrant a little bit, getting a percentage set for the fund retention balance, and then looking to clean some other pieces there. So it will be a full stack of warrants for people to consider as we're looking to move the district forward and allow our kids to continue to grow and learn.
All right, nice. Thank you.
Anything you need from me, Bill, or
I
members of
don't
this
think,
group?
is there anything? Not at the moment.
No, I think too, Justin, the budget committee and the school board will be meeting jointly in December. Was
December
that the-
15th, that there's a
15th.
joint meeting scheduled currently
Right.
right now, Liz, yes.
That'll be like your Christmas present, get to meet.
Meet and greet.
It's only a month away. It's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
This fall's flying. Too quick. But no, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, sounds
I
good.
appreciate it.
You bet. I'll reach back out and maybe in the spring we can do something
Absolutely.
again.
Absolutely. Whenever you want to come in, the
Do you
door
have
is
the
open.
dates for the deliberative session and the public hearing?
I do. I wanted to speak. I believe delivered is February 5th. February 5th, Liz. And the public hearing. January 15th.
Thanks.
And just because we're going through the calendar,
Yeah.
voting day,
No, March.
March 10th. That's kind of the full slate of the calendar.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Thanks. All right. Next up, we have one budget left to review. It's the planning board budget. You should have received in your packet a whole bunch of information that Dan had supplied to us. But if we go back to our sheets, we'll go from there, we'll take a look at it. Dan, I don't know if you guys wanted to come up or not, or if you're happy to sit there, it's up to you. I don't know yet. And I don't think, what we had here, well, we only got a few things, right? Greg, from when it was printed, we have about 6 line items is all we're looking at, because I know Dan had other stuff in his, but we probably capture that in other different budgets, correct? Right. Yep, exactly. So for the planning board, which I think this is a good thing, this is the first year we've separated it out. I think that's a good thing. So we know what's going on. So we really don't have anything to really kind of compare it to from previous years, because it's the first year we're doing it. I know the big thing that we're adding in, well, we have the circuit rider, right? For 10,000, which is RPC, which on the planning board, I think that's very well worth it.
And I suspect we won't use all of that, but
You may
that's-
not, right?
Right, but
Legal, I know Greg for that, you took the average of the last few years, is that what you did there?
That's correct.
So the average on that was $40,611. I guess we'll see how that goes, right? That's give and take, right? It's a new one.
Are you looking at the big sheet or are you
I'm looking at the big sheet.
That's, Mr. Kane provided other numbers.
Yeah, I saw that. Are those the numbers we want to go by?
I have not updated them,
Okay.
so
Okay, see the proposed budget, everyone should see that. So the bottom line on that, what you had there was 114,000?
it was 143,108
That's
is
what-
the total gross appropriation required.
You are including the escrow fees, are you
Yes, I am.
not?
I am. I really went after the gross aspect of this. So,
Because those are usually seen as a pass-through and not included as part of the appropriations.
I understood, but there's just no visibility to what they are, and, given the requirements of RSA 676-13, we need to separate those out into a separate accounts.
Which they are.
Okay. So they're in a non-lapsing account.
Yes, they are.
All right. Did that just start?
No.
The treasurer implied they weren't when he responded to me.
Okay,
Okay, yeah.
we have a separate account that is an escrow type account for all of the special revenue funds and all of the separate escrows.
Okay. Because it should be both escrow, bond, and as well as all the application fees we receive too, that are received by the planning board.
Well, the application fees help offset, those are the fees that go into the general fund to help offset the budget.
Well, they should be accounted for under the RSA. They should be accounted for in that non-lapsing account. I mean, that's the whole idea.
I'll agree to disagree.
That's okay.
That's
what it says in the RSA. The whole idea here was to expand what was going on at the planning board level so we could see, taxpayers could see, kind of what's coming in and what's going out. At the end of the day, does it produce a different number at the bottom? No, or it shouldn't.
Well, yes, it does, because the taxpayers as a whole look at the increase of what the budget is. They are not concerned about the revenue offset.
Well, they should be.
Well,
right?
they're not. As we have experienced here and we've experienced at the budget committee level, the idea of the gross budgeting versus the net budgeting, one of the questions that we were asked at the last selectmen's meeting was, why do we not offset the budgets with revenues? That was flat out asked at that desk. So there is a clear misunderstanding on the budget process versus the tax rate process.
Yeah, this is the planning board's budget. It's
no, but I'm
whatever
just saying.
happens to the tax rate is the tax rate,
No, but I'm just saying that's where, because as an example, and this is what I would say is, the town clerk collects $2 million, and if they have a $100,000 budget, where's the other $1.9 million going?
Again,
but
I'm only dealing with the planning. It's because here's the thing: I don't represent the budget committee. I don't have any issue one way or the other. I'm just charged with preparing a budget for the planning board, and I interpreted the requirement for gross basis that I would estimate fees that come in and estimate expenses that will go out. And so while the budget is a single page, all of the other attachments to this analysis just describe how I got from A to B. That's all they do. And I think this is a transparent attempt, if you will, to just show the ins and outs. And I believe it comports with the requirements of 676-13. I mean, that language isn't ambiguous. It uses shall in all the aspects. We have no choice.
And you have passed out the RSA with some highlighted areas.
Yes.
And I think that they are specifically, one of them refers to what the board is responsible for, along with the budget committee. Any fees, those are in a separate, those are two, to me, they are two separately divided things. And again, we can.
Yeah, no, and I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just saying
I'm not either.
Is the notion for me is I see the requirement and the accounting is kind of crossing here. And that's all. The requirement as to where the fees get recorded is the accounting should follow the requirement. That's what I tried to do here.
Mhm.
So whether we have accounts, non-lapsing, whatever we have, that's the requirement, and that's what this budget does. It just follows that requirement. And again, for me, it's like legal fees were captured someplace else in the past. We're now capturing them as they relate to the planning board in this budget.
Which is a good thing.
Well, because people can see.
Right, exactly. That's where it should be.
If we're collecting $50,000 in engineering fees, even though, yes, it's a pass-through in the sense, but it's a pass-through and you've got to collect it and then you've got to remit it. The expense, that contract is with the town of Plastow, I presume, for the engineer. For Keach, so we're paying him out of funds we collect. And that's kind of where, as a non-practicing CPA, when I look at things like this, I wanna first expand the detail, and if we collapse it, at least I know why we're collapsing it. And that's all this was. I estimated fees. I gave an example. I crosswalked from the planning department to the planning board to give you guys a sense of kind of where all this was coming from. And I'm not trying to jam this too. If there are other questions we need to answer, I'm happy to answer them. I'm happy to go back and to the drawing board if I have to. But at least we got something we can kind of look at on a gross basis.
All right. Let's take a look at when I'm looking at your proposed budget, some of this, Greg, correct me if I'm wrong, like the first one, the planning board staff, that's already accounted for in the planning department?
Yes.
So
Can I just fill in one? So that number, the planning department is accounted for the entire salary. And what this does is it just carves out what we believe will be related solely to the planning
Right.
board.
But what I'm looking at, we gotta do, because we have the planning department, which we approved that budget, so now I'm just taking out the piece that's not there, that's gonna be under the
That's what
planning budget, right?
That's what the crosswalks.
So
tries to do.
that's what I'm looking at, because we approved the planning department for roughly 73,000, and what was remaining was like 92,000 for the planning board.
Yeah, and that number's just, it's
It's
not accurate in
That's what-
terms of what we have.
That's what I'm looking at, but Craig, when you take a look at this, what do you see that's not accounted for up in the planning department? So we know what we would need to approve for the planning board to get the numbers. We know the first one, the planning board staff, right, the 27,000, that's accounted for up above, right, under the planning department?
I'd go to the next page and there's crosswalk to the planning department. Second column, planning department is what was approved, the 73,215.
Correct.
So
So I'm just trying to figure out what the planning board, how we would have it on the budget, right?
So you're saying, Mr. Kane, that the planning department budget instead of 73,000 should be 36,000?
Yes, if you just take our budget and back out what was on the planning department budget. And it's pretty, you can see what I backed out.
So So what are we looking at if you combine the planning department and the planning board? What's that number? Just to make sure I'm looking at the right numbers.
If you combine both,
Yes,
total appropriations would be roughly $179,000 and some change. So if you looked at the crosswalk and you took the first column and the last column, that would be the total of both budgets, I believe.
so that's about 14,000 more than what we had, what we were looking at.
But again, you've got legal in there that was captured someplace else.
No, I know.
You've got, and you can't look at these expenses without looking at the fees.
No, because we're looking, when we had it broken out, right? We had, the planning department had $73,215. The planning board was $92,000. And that only included, that was the circuit rider, legal, computer IT, which was the emails, master plan update, and the impact fee had in there.
Yeah, but that wasn't a planning board budget. We didn't submit that. I think all we did is an email trying when we were going through the process.
What are your thoughts over there, Greg?
I don't have any thoughts at this point, honestly, so.
Anybody else have anything?
I'm just trying to figure out how to plug the numbers in to this form
Right,
that we present to the budget committee.
right.
Well, one challenge is you have no account numbers for the
Correct.
planning board.
Right, those are all gonna be well, we have some here now, right? Those,
Well, those are planning department typically account numbers. So I didn't
yep.
go through and make up
No,
account numbers.
no, I know you, I'm just looking at what I have
Yeah.
on my sheet here.
I mean,
bigger sheet.
I don't know if that requires, a different,
So what I'm trying to figure out is where the $14,000 difference is coming in. Because if I add like I said, the planning department and the planning board from what we had in front of us, before your sheet was 165,000 combined.
yeah.
And you're looking at 179. That's a difference of 14,000.
Yeah, that's not, but you're taking an apple and
I
comparing. it to
get
a
that, but I
tomato.
still gotta try to figure out why one is at 165 and the other's at 179. Where I'm missing it, what's missing on this?
I guess I don't know where the $14,000, where the difference is. I mean, if you look at what was submitted, just isolate the planning board numbers. So you've got RPC of what? Forget my budget for a
Yep, the
minute,
RPC is 10,000.
okay? And what's,
Legal is 40,611.
okay, there's some of your difference there. Where is, and then you've got
Then you got-
impact fees, right?
No, then we just have master plan update, impact fee. The impact fees is 35,000.
Yeah, so the problem is you're not going to find one lineup because it's a combination of different things. So we have no impact fees in the planning board's requested budget. The unreimbursed legal fees are only 20 grand. And then you have RPC, which is 10, and master plan update is 10. And the difference then is all the fees that we actually get paid money for. Recording fees, postage, all of that.
So you're not planning to do any impact fee updates in '26?
No. So if you look, I have a schedule, I have a sensitivity schedule on the back. So my recommendation is until we get the public safety, which has the biggest impact to us,
Right?
and see what that does. My recommendation to the planning board was that we don't do any other fee.
So if we're not going to do the impact fee update, that's 35,000 is what we had on this.
Doesn't
No, I'm
exist.
saying on this
Yeah,
here, what I'm
yeah,
looking at.
that's gone.
So that's gone.
So we can adjust that down to 1.
Yeah, down to $1, just to keep it open.
And again, I think the planning board's open to, any recommendation on impact fees, but I did that sensitivity, and it just shows you when you go through what you would need in additional single-family housing, all of this stuff, and it didn't seem to me to warrant the expenditure. Take us too long to recoup it, and it's going to take almost a year to get done the public safety fee. So why don't we just have better visibility before we spend money?
Right, I get that. So
How about this? If you want me to, why don't I just take what that budget is and I'll go through and I'll crosswalk it to that? And I can
That'd make it-
isolate.
yeah, because I think it's like, because we had the planning department, when we approved that, you pulled out those positions onto yours, and it's buried in here, so that means the planning department budget is going to change as well.
Yes.
Make sense to you, Greg? What you want to do?
Sure, that's fine.
Because the master plan also is $5,000 in here, but Dan put in 10 on this. So there's another 5. So
Yeah,
it would
but
be great to just kind of
without looking at it in total, you can't isolate it. You can't
Yeah.
say this is more, this is less. I have to take that number.
From your end, right, for the permanent positions in the planning department, would you prefer to see it all still under the planning department, or do you want to see it broken out? You tell me how you do it.
Well, I would say it should be under the planning department. The employee is hired by the town manager and oversees it.
Okay.
We are talking about a payroll nightmare if we're going to try to charge it into 2 different places like that.
Okay.
Why can't you just invoice us?
Invoice it? How do you want?
Well, it's just an accounting entry here's the thing that challenges me is the planning board is entitled, again, under the RSA, to, quote, employ its own folks, subject to the normal employment practices of the town. All we're talking about here is not an individual employee. All we're talking about is an accounting entry. Just allocate, hey, this is planning board time, this is planning department or other land use time. Towns do it throughout New Hampshire. We wouldn't be unique in just saying, okay, this is in their budget and this is the time allocated. I don't even know if we're 100% right in guessing the time. I tried to get the information on, okay, what's being allocated now? I don't know. I just made an educated guess. I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, what gets tough around here too, everyone wears 2, 3, 4 hats,
Yeah.
and that's what gets tough.
But this is just, again, an accounting, it's just an accounting entry. It's not a separate payroll.
I'll do whatever the board wants to do.
Okay.
I'm not making the decision.
Okay.
I've given my opinion and the
Yep.
like, you decide. I will
Yeah,
defer to you.
no, I'm not a CPA, but, what does the board think?
I think I'd like to see that crosswalk with the budget that we have here on this one.
For this, yeah, and then,
Because right now I'm trying to do a puzzle of
Yeah, there's a piece.
A to B, C to D.
yeah, I think we do that, and then
Like
we can,
Math class again in 7th grade, right?
and then, then
If we
we
get
can,
that nice side by side, we can really just
right,
look.
and then we can certainly discuss how we want it in each account, right? Once we know what the bottom line is between the two.
Yep.
And then we can split it out. All right, yeah, if you can crosswalk that
Yep.
for us, and then we'll go from there. Do you have a copy of what this is? Figured you did.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And let's see, what do we have up next? Consider updating the Highway Safety Advisory Committee charter. So, let's see what we got here.
You wanted to add somebody
What
from
we're looking for is the membership right now in the committee is the chief of police, the fire chief, highway supervisor, building inspector, town planner slash coordinator, Ballard school rep, a selectman's rep, 3 citizen representatives, 1 alternate representative. And we're looking to add, the committee, I guess at their last meeting, agreed to add a member of the water department to the committee? Because you're on the committee,
I
John,
am on
right?
that committee. And we felt that it was prudent that we have somebody from the water department as a representative on it.
So,
Do we have someone from the water department?
I don't believe we had anybody stepped up at that point, but
It really started because Dee Voss is currently on the committee. She mentioned that she will be retiring at the end of the year. Shay will step into her place as planning department member. Chief Santoro thought Dee was an effective member and said, well, why don't we add a water department member? So Dee would be the water department member if that's.
for the
what
moment
board wants.
anyways, right, until someone else
Right, if that's what the
has
board
that
wants.
spot. And everyone
we were all in.
was in agreement for it to add one more? Any,
No, I think it's a good idea since it's becoming more of a.
It impacts
need
our
in town.
highways.
Yeah, and it does,
Yeah.
in how it's going to affect our transportation
yeah,
infrastructure.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to have more people on a committee. It's
And Dee's a
more
wealth
ideas.
of information when it comes
She
to.
is.
Yep.
She's got
Any
a
of
lot of
that.
institutional knowledge.
So I move that we update the Highway Safety Advisory Committee charter to include a water department representative.
And I'll second that.
That's second by Liz. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it's 500. We have some sealed public minutes to review, Beth.
Yes, and I recommend you do that in a non-public session.
Okay, so we'll move that to non-public. So we will be having non-public tonight. That's what that tells me. All right, approve the consent agenda. There wasn't a whole lot on there tonight. The consent agenda, it's the accounts payable manifest for October 30th, 2025, and BOS draft minutes of 10/27/25. Has everyone had a chance to review everything?
Yes.
Anybody wants to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items for November 3rd, 2025.
October 30th.
November 30th, thank you.
October 30th.
October 30th.
We'll get there.
It says November 30th here.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, abstained, 500. So that's done. Is there anything for us tonight, Greg?
Excuse me?
Do you have anything for us tonight for the town manager's report?
Sure. The trash RFPs were due today at 4:00. We had 5 people attend the preliminary meeting and we received 4 bids today. So we'll be tabulating those and going through them to bring them to the board to make a decision. Spent the week or, some time this past week finalizing the tax rate with DRA, working with the tax collector and the assessing department to make sure that the tax bills are being prepared. Have dealt with some training and personnel issues. Also working with the Department of Transportation, the Assistant Commissioner, and the engineer on the traffic calming project to do a meeting prior to the 11/13. We have reposted ads for the recreation director as our original candidate fell through. So we have reposted ads for employees. The water project is continuing over at Wilder Drive, a little slower than expected, but we are making progress, and we are also working on connecting the potable water over to Park from there. So it looks like we're going to be able to do it, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And then we're also, as we've scheduled another community power informational meeting for the next Board of Selectmen's meeting, so I've been working on a mailing to get out in the mail this week. So, and we are also going to blast it on cable, Facebook, the town sign, but also I've spoken to the fire department of utilizing the informational system to be able to do the reverse 911 to people's cell phones and the like, getting the information out that way as well. So
Perfect. And the next selectmen's meeting would be November 17th.
Monday, November 17th.
And that will be 6 o'clock upstairs. That'll be part of our regular meeting. And obviously that one there, the presentation will be done again.
Yes.
And it'll be open for question and answers. The 17th, and so, obviously, it looks like you're doing your best to get the information out there so everyone's well aware of it.
Yes.
So thank you. Welcome. All right. And next up, selectmen's reports. Tyler.
Not much. The rec department, the commission is still moving forward, trying to start the ski club. So they'll be doing an info night tomorrow night at 6:30 at the Norman Major building. There's a rec commission meeting next week. Double booked tomorrow night for budget committee and ski club. So I'll make that work somehow. But other than that, that's all I got right now.
All right. In the ski club, those at 6:30, you said?
6:30 at the Norman Major building.
We should, I don't know if you've probably already done it, but getting it out there on Facebook, social media, all that.
Yep, through all the Pollard family groups that everyone's on. And
yeah, hopefully that works out, because that was a great thing. I know when my kids were coming up, they all took advantage of it and used it. Great. Thank you. Liz?
I attended the community power public hearing. I'm glad they're going to do another one. I never got a notification. I just knew because I pay attention, but, and I was at a meeting to review the calming study with planning department last week as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Jay?
I attended the community power public hearing. I got my letter the next day.
I didn't even
You didn't get one, but I got it the next day. Glad we're scheduling another one so that people can attend that. We had a budget meeting last week. For those that probably watched, it wasn't as smooth as possible. So hopefully this week will be better. I know last week there were a couple members looking for department heads that for the budgets that we were going to cover that night, but they were at the previous meeting, so I'm not sure what questions changed since then. But I know there's some information that we're still waiting to get to the budget committee, so hopefully they'll have that information soon. Let's see. And then I also attended the traffic calming meeting with the planning department as well. So
Thank you.
that's it.
John?
I've had a much lighter road. So I've got that the Scouts coming up this, visit on the November 8th, Saturday. At, it starts at 5. They're having a music bingo down over at the Plastow Fishing Game. It's to support, obviously, all of the new endeavors that the Scouts are bringing on, so.
Yep, and that helps pay for trips for them with the fundraising.
Absolutely.
And I think of that one too, they're also doing like a, what do they call it, the Yankee swap or something like that?
I believe they are, yes. And that's all I got, other than when it came to the energy department, that the mailer going out late was more or less the post office, not so much. The energy department had to work with its constraints on time limits of releasing information. So I'm sorry that things didn't get out, but there was nothing nefarious involved in that. It was just
Absolutely.
an issue of timing, so.
Well, there is a government shutdown, so I wonder if that had something to do with it. With the US Post Office.
Yeah, it probably didn't help. Right, so, but at least this time we're gonna have another meeting, and Greg's doing all he can to get a ton of information out there, so everybody knows the date, so. So I think that's, it's the most we can do. And obviously, if there's any questions too, anyone can feel free to email me. I have no problems answering emails or anything like that to help anyone with the questions through the process. Myself, I also was at the community power public hearing, and I have a planning board meeting this week. What we have events coming up. Plastow voter registration. The supervisors of the checklist in Plastow will meet on Friday, November 7th, 2025, from 9 to 9:30 a.m. at the town clerk's office, Town Hall, 145 Main Street. The supervisors will be available to register new voters or make any changes for existing voters. New voters will need documents to provide proof of identity, age, citizenship, and domicile. Coming up a week from tomorrow, this is the big one, right? The Veterans Day. Veterans Day pancake breakfast will be at the Vic Gary Center, Tuesday, November 11th, 2025. That will start at 8:30 to 10. Usually we try to end it as close to 10 as possible, because then they have a thing at the Legion at 11 o'clock, I believe.
At 11:11.
So that's why it's from 8:30 to 10, and that is open to the public. It's always a good event. It's a good way to thank the veterans in town. I know the Historical Society, they usually always have a table there as well with some of the old uniforms through the years.
Be represented there.
Yep. The Scouts are always there to help. The Lions, always a big thank you to the Lions. They'll be doing the cooking.
They will be, and a lot of the Leos will be there too, supporting.
Perfect. And again, thank you to Pat Buckley for helping provide a lot of the food.
Absolutely.
It's always a big help. Then we also have a public information hearing regarding the New Hampshire 121A Traffic Calming and Safety Improvement Project. That'll be at Plastow Town Hall on Thursday, November 13th. The doors will open at 6 o'clock. The presentation will begin at 6:30. Look for the town website for some additional information. The one thing we're going to start up again this year, we did it last year. The Board of Selectmen will have office hours on the following Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. It'll be here at Town Hall. We'll do it November 15th, November 22nd, December 6th, and December 13th. So if you have any questions, there'll either be one or two selectmen here on those days. So any questions you may have, hopefully it'll be a little bit better attended than it was last year for people with questions. It's a good time to come in and ask questions. If we don't know the answer, we'll definitely get you the answer. And that was everything there. And did anybody have anything that they wanted to bring up? So I guess we're going to go into non-public, right? And what are we going in under?
Do you want to let him know?
I make a motion to enter non-public session, RSA 91-A:32 for C for reputation.
Second.
Second by John.
Selectman Troy,
Yes.
Selectman DeRoche,
Yep.
Costa,
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz.
Yes.
All right, and so we'll end the regular portion of meeting at 7:10. We will not be coming back. Everybody have a good week. We'll see you back here on the 17th. And hopefully we'll see a lot of you at the pancake breakfast next week. All right, thank you. Have a good week.
Thank you.